Maru says, "Hi, Kyle, I'm hurting right now. I'm being attacked by my ex." And it's the same pattern. It's different in that I see it differently, but I feel like I'm being drawn to her part. And I don't know how to free myself from this toxic connection. We have a child together, so I feel obligated to stay connected because we're connected through the child. How do I not get entangled with the dense toxic energy while still communicating with people who hold that? So here's the first thing. I would recommend, here's an actual tangible thing. Undo the muck of the relationship with the other parent and decide for yourself to only talk about logistics with the child. That's the only conversation you'll have, right? What time we're picking the kid up from the school, where their breakfast is, the questions about the logistics with the child, so that we don't use the child to kind of keep patterns going that are keeping the gunk with this person. You can very easily go, but I still want the family unit, or I still want this thing to work. And that's understandable, but we're really moving based on frequencies now. And if you're really in a place where we're going to move forward, I want you to not let your fear of the family unit be used against you so that your ex can attack you. Do you understand what I mean by that? That you have a right to your child, you have a right to be a co-parent. And if I ask your soul if this is a good partner or you should have a relationship at all with this person anymore other than parenting, should you? What shows up for you, Maru? Should you have a relationship with the parent other than co-parenting? But I want to, but I know it isn't right. So there you go, Maru, that's the most honest answer. Your want to is going to have to take a back seat of it isn't right. And you're going to have to mourn the idea of what could have been. You're going to have to mourn your goal of trying to make it work together. You're going to have to mourn that. I know that feeling. I understand that feeling. And there's a lot that comes with it. But at the same time, we gotta release the muck that's scared of losing something so that you can have clarity to make really strong decisions and be an amazing parent for that kid. Because if you're in the gunk of trying to figuring out the kid stuff tied to also, I want to make this work. It's your wanting to make this work that gives your ex fuel to attack you. It's your boundary that'll clear that out. Your ex is not wanting to make it work. And even if they are, if they're attacking you and you're saying it's toxic, you're going to have to honor that it's toxic and break away energetically. You will get from that the ability to grieve what could have been, and you will be free to really have what is your right to have as a parent, to have the ability to be an amazing co-parent, to be a leading co-parent, to teach your child to leave toxicity, to help the other parent look at themselves because you're not enabling that. Creating that division is a good thing. Your gunk in this needs to be released so that this isn't about maybe we can make this work, maybe we can whatever. When they're throwing toxicity and attacking you, it's now up to you to have the courage. That's a high frequency number, right? Have the courage to go, I'm going to do something new and break this off. And I'm just talking logistics about the child with this parent. That's it. You will be able to have later other conversations with that desire and that need and that don't leave me abandonment energy broken off. Later, once that's really cleared out and you have the ability to hear who you are without that need and with that grieved out, you will be able to come with a boundary and still talk. You can even have conversations like, how are you doing? but they won't have the toxic ability because you don't have the gunk in your chest that wants something. It's your wanting something that they play off of. Do you understand that? It's your, maybe we can make this work that is an unconscious weapon for other people who are doing things that are toxic, right? It's playing with your emotions. It's playing off of that. You really need to create the boundary. That's my belief. Take whatever you want from this and do whatever you want with this. Create that boundary of allowing the want to be there, but don't bring it to the ex. Like, let the want be there and don't get advice from the ex on it. Like, one day I talked about this, but when you really are ready to break off the ex, it's like breaking off of alcohol. You want to break off alcohol, you can't just take a shot every once in a while. You also can't ask the ex for advice on what to do. You need to get to a safe space that's separate and don't ask the toxic energy what you should do. It will always be used against you later. Have the courage to break off, find a new safe space that's really powerful, that will honor your inner child, and create a boundary. And then you, with a protected boundary, can lead what happens and how this works, so that you're not just in that entangled crap and letting everything be in their toxic energy, right? They'll be in charge of you with that. You have to just grieve what could have been. All of us need to grieve what could have been. Always. Because that's where we get tangled. Maybe we could still have what could have been, but you know better. And Maru, the real core of your pain, Maru, is that you know it won't work, but you want it to. That's the problem. The real problem is that, not that they're toxic and not that they're whatever. You're not honoring what you know. And that's actually the highest. Believe it or not, your highest is to not be with the person, right? The wanting is a wounded kid, right? So your highest excitement would actually be to honor that this doesn't work, right? Someone just said to hosts and panelists, it's so painful. And what I would offer is, the painful is not choosing to say yes to the truth. The painful is your negotiation with the truth. Maru said right there, yeah, I know it doesn't work, but I want it to. So what do? Keep making it work when we know it doesn't work? Do you hear that? You get that? Do we keep making it work when we know it doesn't work? I mean, would there be anything more insane? There's a song I heard this morning that I really liked, and it was called Time to Let a Good Thing Die. It was so pretty. You know, and the song was saying something like, there's just things that can't happen, basically. Like, you don't go out at midnight and hear birds singing. You don't, there's things that just basically was saying all these examples of there's just times where things don't work. And the chorus is, it's time to let a good thing die. Like, listen to this. Mary says it. You can't ask a tree to blossom if it isn't spring. Don't leave the house at midnight and expect the birds to sing. If you're looking for a reason, you needn't even try. Sometimes it's time to let a good thing die. You can't conjure up more money. Oh, that makes me want to cry. You can't conjure up more money if you've only got a dime. This is so powerful, you guys. No use praying for your younger days if you're running out of time. You can take a horse to water, but you can't teach a fish to fly. Sometimes it's time to let a good thing die. You can't light a fire from nothing or clap and make snow fall. You can't summon up love in your heart if it isn't there at all. Life isn't like the movies, but it sure will make you cry. When it dawns on you, it's time to say goodbye. You can't drum up the heartbeats of loved ones come to pass. Stop wishing for forever, because nothing ever lasts. If it's keeping you from sleeping, wipe the tear from your eye, because sometimes it's time to let a good thing die. And we're crying because we're becoming courageous and letting things be as they are. And Maru, I understand wanting to work so hard to make something work that doesn't work. And I have so much love for both your situation that it doesn't work, and I have so much compassion for the little you that wants to make it work. Because that little kid has such a good heart. And I know my little kid has wanted to make things work so many times. And he's finally giving up. And that's what's being cried out. Maru, I just feel for you because I have that. I see you and I see that in me. It's a really pretty song. And when we finally honor what is, which is what you did, you said the exact right sentence, Maru. I want to, but I know it doesn't work. And I have wanted to and know it doesn't work so much. And I have tried to make things work so much. And some things just don't work. And it is so courageous to say that, Maru. There really is truth to that song. Like, there are not birds singing at midnight, and you can't convince them to, right? No matter how many times, Maru, you try to talk that person into being someone different and hearing you or making things work, what do you know in your life is not working? What friendship, what person you're holding up, what story, what relationship is ready to go? It's time to let a good thing die. In fact, most of us have a hard time even letting a bad thing die because we think the potential is it'll be good. Right. And we don't even own, it's not even good, but you can also let good things die too. Maru says, it's sad because I see that I use my son to try to keep it together, like my parents did. Oh, and the result was abuse. I have a fresh start and a chance. And yes, I'm ready to be anew. Thank you. Goodbye to the family I once cherished, for the family and for the family I have now. Thank you. Maru, you're such an honest person with such a good heart. Like, that touched me. Like, really hear that. Goodbye to the family I once cherished, for the family I have now. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So Maru, you're breaking your parents' patterns. You're breaking the patterns and not putting your son through what you went through. This is so big. You're not the family dynamic, right? Oh, you have a little kid that's arguing with what is, trying so hard to make something work that doesn't, being so optimistic, wanting someone to understand. I feel you so much, Maru. Maybe tonight we can all just let a good thing die. This morning I was going to go on a hike, and I did, and I had texted Mary, I'm not going to have the phone with me. And I'm just going to be on a hike for a couple hours. And then I was like, actually, I decided I wanted to hear new music. And I just like put on an artist that I like that's current and just songs like him, Jake, JVKE. I really like that song Golden Hour. And that song, Let a Good Thing Die, came on. And I just really loved it. And I didn't know it would play into tonight. I had no idea that was part of this journey, but like that so fits with what we're doing. I dare you to have the courage to just not fix something that's trying to die. And then the fixer goes too, and you start to move more in harmony with what is. Let my best thing die for what God wants for me. Yes. Yes. And Maru, you then leave toxicity. You give your partner the gift of not being enabled to keep doing it. Right? You thought I was going to do a magic trick, but this is just to blow my nose. Didn't you think when I did this, I was going to be like, and Maru also, I wish I could have had like a dove. Wouldn't you just shit if I like just having a live dove or a crow and it sings and I'm like, keep the relationship. It can sing at night. What in your life is trying to die that can just go? What story? It is so special. It's so sacred.